kind of show how fast it clears everything. This is truly blasting for early leveling, like only a few hours into the season, and everything just melts. Same thing with the boss. Well, the Helltide bosses, I should say. 'Cause that's all we've really done so far for the most part. Obviously the campaign too, but yeah, I would say this is truly blasting already. You got the speed, you got the momentum, you got the damage. I mean, everything just evaporates on Rogue, right? And the funny thing is, I couldn't decide between Druid and Rogue, but I will say I'm extremely happy that I did go with Rogue, because again, you can see already I'm only level 40. I'm like 3 hours into season 10. Solo the entire time, just kind of taking what I find and making the best of it. And all I've been really doing is the seasonal, you know, the main season theme, and Helltides, right? Following the quest line when I can get it, and then just doing Helltides blasting and trying to level and get gear going. I only have one more slot to get all my, then I finally have all legendaries, which would be nice. But anyways, so yeah, a few hours into season 10, I chose to go Rogue over Druid, and I don't regret it so far. The main reason was Druid seemed a little slow to me. And like, I like fast, and I like that Rogue actually has multiple options too, especially when you get to endgame. Kind of every class does, really, but Rogue, just from level 1 to endgame, literally blasts. So I decided to do that, and again, so far it's feeling great. Never really played Dance of Knives. Last time I played a Rogue was like a year and a half ago, when I did that 150 clear on Rogue, playing Rogue for the first time. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm excited to play it again this season. But anyways, I'm gonna share with you guys real quick what I got going on, kind of give you an idea, maybe if you want to try it as well, if you can't decide, like I was kind of trying to decide between Rogue, Druid, or really what to play. It came down to, like I said, Rogue, Druid eventually, and then, like I said, it just leaned towards Rogue for now. But yeah, like I said, so all I've been doing is the seasonal thing, kind of, you know, the textbook, follow the seasonal whatever, and then going and doing Helltides is where you find like the portals or whatever, mostly. So it's just been following that around. But yeah, I will say I didn't build my own guide with this. I haven't played Diablo that much the last couple seasons, unfortunately. Just kind of, I mean, I play it, but not like I used to. If you guys know, I used to be way more hardcore into it. And I will be again, I'm sure, once there's more endgame, once there's more stuff, whatever. But it's good to see a lot of the changes, a lot of different variety in classes and whatever. Better balances, more options to play, more flavor, right? Now we just need more endgame. But anyways, that being said, like I said, I don't actually have my own guide for this yet. Once I get like more max level, and start trying to tune something depending on, you know, how much I play, and if I try to push and whatever, I'll probably do my own build guide, like in depth. I'm loosely following just the max roll Dance of Knives. I don't know who made it, but so again, I'm not even necessarily using my own guide per se. I am doing, you know, obviously whatever I can get, making the best of what I can. So it's not, I'm not necessarily following it, you know, to a T. I'm just using it as a baseline, as a reference point, and then making, you know, again, based on what I get, try to make the best decision that I think is going to be best as I level and get towards that end game. So that being said, one of the things I just actually did, I finally got the star shards not that long ago, and that's really when it starts to ramp up. And once I got the star shards and started getting more of the legendaries, I actually went through, and tempering is huge. I'm sure most of you know that by now. Tempering in this game, the earlier you could do it, you know, it's just extremely powerful. It's an extremely powerful thing from start to finish. But that being said, so what I ended up doing was I re-rolled everything on my gear, just not anything crazy, just to get all usable stats. And I tried to go obviously dex, max life, armor, on like my actual like defensive pieces, and then on my offensive pieces, you know, dex, max life, and then crit stuff. So like crit chance on here, and then crit damage on the bow, right? crit damage on the, I'm using swords at the moment because that's just the best of what I got so far. Could use daggers, whatever. But yeah, basically dex, max life, and then either crit damage or armor is really what I've been doing. And even for my rings, you can see it's the same thing. Dex, you know, main stat, max life, crit. And then for the amulet, we got the, again, I like to go super fast. Big reason why I chose rogue to begin with. So I'm trying to get as much movement speed as I can. So I do have movement speed on this amulet, and that's the main reason I'm using it. But it does have, I rerolled the dex and then obviously crit chance. So it's a win-win there. And then this mask isn't really actually doing, you know, again, I'm using it for the movement speed. Basically, it gives me a bunch of armor, a little bit of max life and movement speed. And that's kind of the I don't really need another defensive right now. If you just saw, you know, in that health side, everything just dies immediately. So again, I'm just trying to blast as fast as I can and get through it. And I ended up finding that, so I threw it on. Again, make the best of what you're getting. That being said, you know, I don't even really cast a basic skill, so it's not really doing anything. But I'm only a few hours in and haven't found anything really to replace it with yet defensively. Same thing here, basic skills not really helping me at all. Enshrouding though is very good. Obviously, Dark Shroud, using a healing potion gives you one, and then each shroud grants more damage reduction. I feel like that's massive help, especially early on. I think I'll probably end up keeping that in endgame too, I'm sure, because that seems extremely strong. Corruption, obviously your movement skill effects have more potency. Good to have. And again, like I keep saying, this is just what I've found so far, the best of what I can make. But those are, I feel like corruption, enshrouding, definitely star shards, like I was saying earlier, that's like the bread and butter. I think that's when it really, like, putting that on in itself, you can feel the build just skyrocket, especially like I said early on. And then the skull and steel, or yeah, that's not, or opportunist, I guess, is the actual whatever, not really helpful. But again, that's just until I get more, that's just what it is for now. And then here again, flurry not doing anything for me. Actually, I was gonna put something else on here, but I ran out of gold because I re-rolled everything, and I also tempered everything, like I was saying earlier. But so yeah, at the end of the day, like, I wouldn't say that you don't necessarily, my point of this is you don't necessarily need to follow any guide you're following to a T, especially early on. Just take the best of what you can. Obviously, there are some priorities type things that you want to try to get early on that make things much better, but it's definitely not needed. Clandestine, I honestly, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Low-key, I feel like that's really good. I don't know, I don't think it's in the guide that I'm looking at, but I don't know why it wouldn't be, because it seems extremely strong. Plus skills, right, for agility, that works for Dance of Knives, so it's kind of a, to me, it makes sense to use it, even if it, like I said, despite the guy, whatever the guy says. But yeah, so like I said, my main point of this is you can see my gear isn't that crazy. It is more optimized, and again, I just did that, and that's where I really, now I'm to the point where I truly feel like I'm blasting. And the main reason for that is, yes, there are a couple aspects that are helping with that, but the main reason I'm truly blasting, well, I guess the main aspect, again, star shards, that's kind of really when the beginning point of like truly starting to blast, I feel like, at least for me so far. And then the other stuff is just additional helps, obviously. But aside from that, I would highly recommend, again, don't get crazy with re-rolling and stuff, because obviously, you know, it takes gold and whatever, but just trying to focus on main stat, right, dex for us rogues. I chose max life and armor, again, for my defensive pieces, and then I chose dex, max life, crit stuff, whether it's crit chance or crit damage for the offensive pieces, right? And then again, movement speed wherever I can get it, just because that's what I prefer, to be as fast as I possibly could be. But that is where truly made the biggest difference, is again re-rolling to get that, because it didn't take much of an investment to do that. You're not trying to get like the best of rolls or whatever. Just take the first thing you get, call it good. And then obviously, again, tempering, like I said earlier. For me, I did agility damage, because again, it's an agility skill for Dance of Knives. So I just tempered agility damage on my ring, agility damage on my, or both rings, agility damage on my amulet and agility damage on my gloves. Again, I'm just trying to take the best of what I've gotten so far. And I know there's other things. Like I think the guide I'm looking at on Maxroll suggests like defensive stuff, but I'm doing so much damage already that I don't really need it yet. Obviously you want resistance. Resistance are always going to be a main priority. You can see mine are pretty low. But again, at this point, only level 40, only a few hours in, trying to get that damage to get blasting is the main focus. And then once I start going beyond hard mode, that's when I really want to focus more on getting the resistance, which we'll do with socketing and, you know, whatever else as we progress. But again, I just kind of wanted to, this ended up being a little bit longer than I had planned, but I just want to try to help anybody maybe that's newer or whatever. Like I said, I haven't played much of the game last couple seasons, and this is definitely some of the most fun I've had early on, like at the start of the season in probably 3 seasons, I'd say. Part of that is because Rogue is it's just really fun to play. Honestly, like I said, right off the rip, right at level 1, you can get Dance of Knives, and it's fairly fast right out of the gate. But once you get, like I said, once you start actually getting decent pieces, and you can get, you know, like I said, for me, I focus on agility damage, tempers, crit damage, rerolls, and obviously main stat, max life, right? Like I keep saying, and it's already shining. Like it seriously is, it feels super, super good. But yeah, aside from that, on my mercenary, I'm using Subo, of course, and the skills there, just got this lucky hit for at the moment. Not sure if, I think this is what the guide said. I'm not sure if I'm going to change that or not. So again, that Maxroll guide I'm following loosely, not to a T. It's just more of a reference to get started, and then go from there. But if you guys want to see as I progress with the build, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you don't know, twitch.tv/Merkadis, you can watch it in real time as I progress with it, because I will be, and seeing where I go with it. And yeah, just saying. And then for Ariana, we got Bloodthirst, right? And I just have it for Shadow Clone at the moment for the big burst. And then from there, Chaos perks, I'm running Accelerating Chaos, Unpredictable Alchemy, and Erupting Chaos at the moment. I haven't gotten any of the other ones yet for the big one. So for now, I think that's the best of what I've been able to get. I think this is what the guide actually said too. And then I think the guide that I was looking at also said hit and run. And if I knew the dude's name, it's just the Maxroll Dance of Knives guide is the one I'm using loosely. I want to give credit where credit's due. Like I said, I haven't actually put out my own guide on this, of my own version or whatever. At this point, that's again why I'm making more of the videos, because I feel like it's not really worth me making a guide, because it's just, especially leveling, it's so subjective that you just take the best of what you can get and focus on the main points. And that's why, again, I'm trying to stress that as I talk about all the stuff going on. It just makes it way easier when you are able to adapt or focus on those things that make the biggest difference as you're going, because you're not going to be able to follow it to a T, because again, based on the drops you get, based on the aspects you get, you know, whatever. But anyway, so that's Chaos perks for now. Mercenaries, abilities, this is pretty simple, just Enhanced Blade to get going, and then down into Stutter Step. I have 1 into Sturdy at the moment, and that was early on to get further down, right? And then we got Weapon Mastery Max, Trick Attacks Max. I'm maxing this next. This is actually pretty cool. I didn't it not only stuns people when you use a potion, but obviously it gives you straight damage too, which is kind of nice. So like I said, that's the next point actually that I got a couple of them. And then obviously max out Dance of Knives, right, into Discipline Dance of Knives, and then Concealment into Subverting Concealment, and Dark Shroud, of course, super strong ability on Rogue. I think every Rogue runs that probably. Countering Dark Shroud, and Max Exploit, Max Malice. Hopefully I'm not missing it. I got plus skills, so like some of these might be blending in. I'll probably put the Maxroll, even though it's not my guide, it's the one I'm referencing, in my like description or something on the YouTube video, just so you guys are aware. If you guys want to just go and look at that and kind of have a reference, especially for like the skill tree stuff. Yeah, and then poison imbuement blended, shadow imbuement blended, and down into just shadow clone. I don't have anything beyond that. I did get unto dawn maxed out. You got to obviously get one of that to get to that. And then we have one into second wind to get to haste maxed out, and then running momentum. Again, if I missed any of the abilities, I'll have the link to the guide I'm looking at, which is pretty much the same for the most part. Like I said, the main differences I have is more gear aspects, you know, tempers, stuff like that. But I do think, again, early on, that makes the biggest difference. And then from there, specializations, I'm using preparation at the moment. Seems good. I don't really need the combo point ones. Combo points with the star shards, I think it gives you extra. So I have 6 charges of it, right? It just kind of helps if you're struggling to kill stuff and keep up your dance of knives, right? If you're like running out, then combo points is probably going to be better. But I don't have that issue, so preparation is what I'm using. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I apologize if I missed anything. Like I said, I haven't made a guide for you guys or kind of shared what I've been doing in this game for honestly too long. So bear with me. Like I said, it ended up being a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I'm trying to be helpful. I'm trying to help, especially newer people or people that can't really decide on what they're trying to do. And like I was, especially if you're like me, just coming back, thinking about checking it out again, maybe, I don't know. Rogue, though, again, for me so far is a massive W. Only a few hours in, but the last couple seasons, a few hours in, I was already getting bored. So far this season, I am not. So that's good. The chaos theme is good. I'm excited for that with the way the new, not just the powers, but the gear works and stuff. If you haven't heard, obviously that's a different video or something for another time, right? But if you're not up to date with the season 10 changes, but yeah, like I said, hopefully that helps. I think I got everything, at least the main points across, and hopefully that helps y'all, and good luck with it. And again, twitch.tv/Merkadis if you want to see the progress. If I end up getting into endgame and still playing and really put something together of my own, look forward to that build guide. Yeah, but like I said, good luck with it. Much love. Hopefully it helps, and I'll see you guys again, hopefully in another video much sooner. I know it's been a while, but again, appreciate y'all, man.